Ladies and gentlemen on the lawn, please be advised, if you do have empty water containers, there are blue tents in the back staging area where you can fill them up. Ladies and gentlemen, please fall into position.
the National Executive Board of the Fraternal Order of Honor Guard, colors. Oh, Tim.
Take the time.
Our gracious Father, sitting before us today are family members, co-workers and friends, men and women in law enforcement, made ultimate sacrifice. And some seriously injured performing their duties. As we look out over these families, friends, that are grieving and hurting, we ask the Holy Spirit to move us. Please bring comfort, support, and strength to the children and those who are born today. We claim the promise in your word that tells us there is no sorrow today can't be in. Claim the promise in your word. There is no sorrow so deep and not so deep. Father, I know there are times we don't see the sun. We know it's there. I know that behind the clouds the face of God is looking upon us. We pray that you bring peace to these families and peace to this great nation. We pray that you give us the nation and our nation. And we will humble ourselves in prayer, seek your face, and turn from multiple ways. That you will hear from heaven and forgive our sins and heal our faith. Pray for our national leaders, President Donald Trump. Pray for him and his family, on behalf of each and every one there. Pray for wisdom and guidance. May you also continue to guide us with wisdom to our national and new president, Joe Kennedy, and help us be effective for them to make a good work. Watch over our active communities and your word and help us. Psalm 93. You will command his angels to guard and protect and lead and all your ways. So we ask today.
Colors, right shoulder, out. Colors, ready, cut.
Was so proudly reading at the twilight's last gleam, whose Christ shines and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched, through so gallant the rocket's red glare. Gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land?
Honor guard, colors. Order. Out.
Color teams, ready, cut.
Colors. Honor guard. Parade. Dress.
Please be seated. My name is Joe Canterbury, National President of the Fraternal Order of Police. And it's my honor and privilege to welcome you, the families of our fallen heroes, our law enforcement community, and all of the distinguished guests to this 38th Annual National Peace Officers Memorial Service. I'd like to begin this morning by introducing our guests who have joined me on the dais for this solemn occasion. Beginning on my right, please welcome Mike Stenger, the Senate Sergeant at Arms and a longtime FOP member. Thank you. Next to Mike is the President of the Concerns of Police Survivors, Cheryl Schultz. We're pleased to have with us the Acting Architect of the Capitol, Christine Burden, member of the Capitol Police Board. Please also help me welcome Will Kinzel, Vice President for Governmental Affairs for Miller Coors, one of our longest standing and most generous corporate partners for this event. Thank you for what you've done and what Miller Coors has done for the law enforcement community. We're also very grateful to have with us Lori Day, the Acting Executive Director of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund. Lori, thank you. It's an honor to have with us today the Chief of our host agency, Matt Verderosa of the U.S. Capitol Police, who will be retiring soon after 34 years in this organization. Chief, thank you very much. I'm also very pleased to introduce Phil Keith, the Director of the Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services. The COPS Office is a keystone to our national policing strategy, from its hiring program to the program helping officers with mental health issues and mental wellness. Director Keith is able and ready partner, and we're grateful to have you with us today, Phil. It's a very distinct honor to be able to represent to you and present to you the Majority Leader of the U.S. House of Representatives, Steny Hoyer, who is a longtime supporter of law enforcement and has been to many, many of these services. Thank you. It's also an honor to be able to introduce the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, who has joined us today on the stage. Thank you. It's my honor to introduce Linda Henney, the National President of the Auxiliary, who has hosted this service along with the FOP for 38 years. I'll introduce Linda more fully in a few minutes. Turning now to my far left, please welcome Paul Irving, the Senate Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms of the House of Representatives. Thank you, Paul. Next, we welcome Matt Albans, Acting Director for the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Thank you very much for being with us. We're also very pleased to have Donald Washington, Director of the U.S. Marshal Service. Thank you, sir, for being here. Also joining us today is the Director, James Murray, of the U.S. Secret Service. Thank you, sir, for being here. We're honored to have with us the Acting Director for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, Regina Lombardo. Thank you. We're also very pleased to have with us today the Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Chris Ray. Thank you, sir. We're also very fortunate to have with us again Kevin McAleenan, Acting Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, sir. He's been a guest in previous services, and I'm sure we'll see you here again. We're also very glad to welcome back another longtime friend of the FOP, Labor Secretary Alex Acosta. Thank you for coming. It's also an honor to introduce the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation, Elaine L. Chow. She's been with us at many services and has actually delivered the keynote for this service. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being here. I'm also very grateful to welcome the U.S. Attorney General William Barr. As our nation's top cop, we're very grateful to have you with us here today. And finally, it's a great honor and privilege to introduce the President, who I will introduce more fully in a few moments. I'd now like to ask Linda Henney to come to the podium for a few comments.
Mr. President, members of Congress, brothers and sisters of law enforcement, family and friends of our fallen heroes, welcome to the 38th Annual National Peace Officers Memorial Service. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy proclaimed that May 15th of each year be observed as Peace Officers Memorial Day, a day in which to honor the brave law enforcement officers who proudly wore the uniform, who daily served the communities in which they lived and worked, and who ultimately made the supreme sacrifice in the performance of their duties. Today, we honor 228 heroes of law enforcement whose lives were taken in an instant or who suffered debilitating diseases as a result of working to save others. Their deaths are the same. They served steadfastly to protect the citizens of our great nation. These law enforcement officers did not live with honors or pay. Their happiness was in doing their job, protecting and serving the public on a daily basis. They knew that their job of enforcing laws and preserving order in the communities in which they lived and worked made a difference. But today is not just about the fallen heroes. Today is about your family, your friends, your loved ones, and the good workers who often remind them of their officer and remembers his or her joking personality, their commitment to their partner, and their obligation and devotion to defend the law they had sworn to uphold. To you, those they leave behind, we offer our heartfelt devotion to assure you that we will never let you walk alone. You and your families matter. You matter to your friends, family include, and you matter to us. There is a kinship, a connection, a bond like no other between those that wear the badge. You need only to look around you today to be reassured that your loved one will forever be written on the heart and soul of the law enforcement community. Amy Grace Taylor shares this inspiration. You may no longer see them with your eyes, but you will feel them in your heart forever. These 228 brave men and women gave their all. They laid down their lives to protect and serve the families, friends, co-workers, and public who are here today to honor them. May they rest in peace. May God bless the families they leave behind. May God bless and protect the law enforcement officers still serving our citizens on the streets of this great nation. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming Reserve Deputy Artie Rodriguez of the Walton County, Florida Sheriff's Office, who will perform If It Wasn't for the Badge.
folded flag, stained with tears. They remove the badge from your chest. God, this can't be real. Now you walk a beat in heaven on God's streets of gold. When I take my last breath, you'll be waiting at the throne. Hollow ground stands a stone, a solemn light who stands alone, a tribute to your honor, fallen brothers too. Lives taken out of anger or hatred of the blue. If it wasn't for the badge, bagpipes would not play. Beautiful, amazing grace, as they fold the flag and pray. You would be silent, the rifles would not draw. If it wasn't for the badge, it would be fine. Carved on these walls, the sacrifice one gives. It's not how they die, it's how they lived. If it wasn't for the badge, the bagpipes would not play. Beautiful, amazing grace, as they fold the flag and pray. You would be silent, the rifles would not draw. If it wasn't for the badge, there'd be no time. I know God called you home, and I miss you so bad. I never would have met you if it wasn't for you.
On behalf of the 346,000 members of the National FOP, it's my honor to again welcome you. As we gather here to honor our heroes, it's with the memory of all of those that we have gathered here each May 15th to honor on this hallowed ground. The National Fraternal Order of Police and our auxiliary, along with our partners at the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Foundation, and from the concerns of police survivors, have made the commitment to our families that we will never let this country forget the sacrifice that you, the families of our heroes, have suffered. and the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, made by those heroes. These heroes were the thin blue line that protects our rights and allows Americans to live peacefully with fulfilling lives. The American dream of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness starts with those who protect us from tyranny. The vast majority of our citizens understand that security is the most important responsibility of government, but few understand it like you do. The inherent dangers that our brothers and sisters face each and every day. Few understand the emotional toll on our nation's peacekeepers, and fewer still have what it takes to perform the duties of a law enforcement professional. The constant exposure to the worst of humanity places a huge burden on our nation's cops, and the loss of one of our officers affects each and every officer as they pin on their badge or their star and go to work. As law enforcement officers, we pledge to go where others run away, and we do so not for honors or praise, but because we all feel the responsibility to our fellow citizens. We take an oath of service, and in doing so, we make that solemn promise to render aid and keep our neighborhoods safe. That is not a responsibility that we bear alone. Each and every American has a responsibility to respect each other and to make this country a beacon of freedom. We all have the duty to treat people with respect and to support our great nation. Today, we honor those who made that ultimate sacrifice. We also come here to make a pledge that we shall maintain the memory of these heroes forever. Hundreds of volunteers work year-round to make sure that Police Week does what it is intended to do. To demonstrate to you, the survivor families and surviving law enforcement partners, that while we cannot fully understand your grief or your loss, we can do everything we can to offer support, love, and our desire for your loved one to receive the appropriate respect from their fellow citizens. In 1985, President Ronald Reagan, in his annual message in honor of Police Week, said, "Let us resolve to do all in our power as citizens of these United States to support our law enforcement officers in their work and pray that no more of them are taken from their families and that they so ably serve. In this way, those who have laid down their lives for their fellow man will not have died in vain." President Reagan was right. And I'm proud to say that our current president, Donald Trump, feels the exact same way and has done his best to make sure that he thanks every law enforcement officer that he comes in contact with. His Police Week messages have always been inspirational, and his speeches at this service have always been received favorably by all. Mr. President, I thank you and I salute you for your action. Thank you, sir. May God bless those officers working the streets of America. May God bless the hundreds of police officers that are protecting us on this site today. And may God bless this great country. Thank you very much. It's now my great honor to welcome our keynote speaker. Mr. President, you were here with us on this solemn day of remembrance for the fallen. It is a great privilege and honor to have you here. On this day, our brothers and sister officers, their families, and loved ones come together to share our grief and draw strength from the knowledge that these sacrifices are not made in vain, and their memories live on in all of us. Mr. President, we welcome you as part of this family, and we thank you for being with us here today and for fighting for us every day in the Oval Office. The job of a law enforcement officer has never been easy, but Mr. President, I have to tell you, I think it's getting harder. Our men and women in blue are no longer seen as peace officers who are there to serve and protect. Instead, we have become targets of scorn and disrespect, and all too often of violence. But Mr. President, you have never wavered in your support. Your strong commitment to keeping our nation safe, our communities safe, and our officers safe is deeply felt. And we could not be more grateful than to have you with us here today and set that example for all to follow. Mr. President, we hope soon to be sending you the Protect and Serve Act, which will impose federal penalties on those who target or ambush law enforcement officers. The House passed this bill 1 year ago, and we hope to pass it again soon. In pledging to protect and serve, they willingly place themselves in harm's way. But now, harm is seeking them out and it must stop. And we know we can count on you to be there for us, and we could not be more grateful, and thank you for your attendance at this service. Brothers and sisters, our survivor families, distinguished guests, and all Americans, please welcome President Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much, please. Thank you. What a beautiful day. Third time, and I have to say this is the most beautiful weather, so that brings us a little luck, and it brings us a little happiness. Chuck, I want to thank you for the great job that you've done. Your devotion has been incredible. I've known you a long time. We've worked together, and congratulations, really are doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much. As president, I am deeply honored to join in this sacred commemoration for the third year in a row. Today, in the heart of our nation's capital, we come together to pay tribute to the American peace officers who made supreme sacrifice, all in the line of duty, in many cases for people they never met, for people they didn't know. We're here to remember their noble lives, to thank God for their profound courage, and to express our love, respect, everlasting gratitude for the heroes of law enforcement. And that's what they are and were, the heroes of law enforcement. We're pleased to be joined today by Attorney General William Barr, doing a great job. Secretary Acosta, Secretary Chow, and Acting Secretary McLean. Thanks also to the members of Congress in attendance, of which there are many, and to the leaders of the Fraternal Order of Police, including Jim Pasca, Linda Haney, and Chaplain Wiggins. To all of the families of our fallen officers, our whole country is praying for you, embracing you, and pledging to you that we will never, ever leave your side, never disappoint you. Your loved ones were extraordinary and selfless Americans who gave everything they had in defense of our communities, our children, our nation. These brave heroes did not put on the uniform for praise or for glory. They wore the badge because it was their duty, their calling, their noble purpose to serve, protect, like nobody has ever done it before. They embodied our highest ideals and greatest aspirations. They were the very best of us. There was nobody close. Today we engrave their memories into our hearts and inscribe their names into the eternal roll call of American heroes. In honor of the fallen, we pledge to always support their brothers and sisters in blue. We stand firmly, strongly, and proudly with the incredible men and women of law enforcement. We do not hear it nearly enough, but Americans across this country love you, they support you, they respect you. more than you would ever know, more than you would frankly ever think even possible. They have great respect for law enforcement and the job you do. As we memorialize those officers who fell in the line of duty, we also grieve for the 87 officers who died in recent years as a result of exposure to toxic debris following the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. I would like to ask all of the families and fellow officers of those 9/11 heroes to please stand. Thank you, please. Thank you very much. I can tell you I live in that city and lived in that city during that time. And the job they did was incredible. Today we renew our solemn oath that we will never forget. Before we read the names of the fallen, I want to share a few of the stories that exemplify the courage of those we honor at this ceremony. Last year, America lost two extraordinary officers from Brookhaven, Mississippi, Patrolman James White and Corporal Zach Moak. James asked his mom to sign a waiver so he could enlist in the Army National Guard at the age of only 17. Nearly 18 years in the military, James became something that he always wanted to be, a police officer. His teammate Zach spent time caring for his nieces and nephews and family. On days when he worked the night shift, he would tell them, "While you were sleeping, I will always be watching over you." Last September, James and Zach responded to a report of shots fired at a home. When they arrived, they bravely engaged the shooters. It was a bad 2 minutes. It was violent and it was vicious. Within seconds, the killer shot James. At that moment, Zach could have raced to safety. Instead, he raced to the side of his friend. As Zach tried to save his teammate, he too was shot and killed, giving his life for his brother in blue. Today we remember the words James once told his mom. He said, "Mama, if I ever die in the line of duty, know that I died doing what I truly loved." This morning we are honored to be joined by the families of both of these remarkable officers. To Patrolman James White's mom, Lori, and dad, Daryl, and sons, JC and James, and to Corporal Zach Moak's mom, Vicki, dad, Marshall, and brother Chris. Your heroes love their job, they love their country, and today their love shines down on you from heaven. They're watching right now, they're watching, they're looking down on you, and they're proud. So please, could I have you just stand up, the families, please. Please. Thank you very much. Two great men. Also here with us for this ceremony are the families of Investigator Farrah Turner and Sergeant Terrence Caraway of the Florence Police Department in the great state of South Carolina. Last October, Investigator Farrah Turner went to the house of a man suspected of a crime against a minor. When she and her fellow officers approached, the gunman opened fire from his second-story window. Nobody knew it could happen. Nobody thought it was even possible. There was no evidence, no anything, but they knew it was trouble. At that very moment, Florence Police Sergeant Terrence Caraway, a very popular person in that whole area of South Carolina. They all knew him, legendary guy. He was on his way home. He heard the call come over the radio. He sped to the scene, jumped out of his car, and was racing to the rescue. He knew the bullets were coming, but he kept going forward, and he was struck by one of those bullets. In total, 7 officers were shot on that very terrible day. We lost Sergeant Caraway, a 30-year veteran of the department. As his pastor has said, he wore a badge of love, and every time you were in his presence, you could feel that love. That's what they all say. Investigator Farron Turner was also fatally wounded. She passed away several weeks later. In her final days, hundreds of members of the community came to visit her in the hospital. They loved her. They spoke of the way she not only saved them from danger, but changed their lives through her grace, her support, and her prayers. To Investigator Turner's mom, Katie, and sister April, and to Sergeant Caraway's wife, Allison, and son Terrence, brother Daniel, and sisters, Sinovia and Ngozi. Your loved ones died today. It was a sad day, but they're looking down on you now. They died as they lived, fighting to protect innocent people. We will always remember them. We will always profoundly be grateful to have with us 2 of the surviving Florence officers who were shot that October evening, Brian Hart and Travis Scott. Brian and Travis, your continued service honors the legacy of your great friends. Thank you for being with us. Please stand. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. The ambushes and attacks on our police must end, and they must end right now. We believe that criminals who murder police officers should immediately, with trial, get the death penalty, but quickly, the trial should go fast. It's gotta be fair, it's gotta go fast. Now that's happening. Fair but fast, right? Fair but fast. In the year before I took office, the number of officers killed in ambushes rose to the highest level in nearly 30 years. In the last 2 years, thankfully, the number of officers killed in ambushes has decreased by more than 70%. I'm very proud to have sent to all of the police departments all over the country hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars worth of military equipment that wasn't being used. Beautiful, wonderful, safe, great equipment that wasn't being used. And other administrations didn't want to send it. Someday you'll explain that one to me. But it's been sent and it's been used, and I've had so many people tell me how happy they were and how many lives it saved. We'll never back down when it comes to protecting our police, ever. My administration will strongly condemn hate hateful, anti-police rhetoric, and you're hearing it. You're hearing it. You don't understand it. You don't think it's even possible that they can think or feel this way. But there are some people out there that do. In recent years, another dangerous trend has begun. A number of prosecutors in cities such as Philadelphia and Chicago have decided not to prosecute many criminals who pose a severe threat to public safety and community well-being. Every prosecutor takes an oath to uphold the law, not to advance a political agenda. Last year in Philadelphia, a robber shot and gravely injured a deli owner. He was a good man. He'll never be the same. But he may serve this criminal a sentence that is very short. In fact, they're looking at about 3 years, if you can believe this, 3 years. Dangerous criminals must be punished to the fullest extent of the law. That's the only language they understand. And those who file false police reports should face full legal consequences. Every American child deserves to grow up in a community that's secure and safe from violence and free of fear. Here with us today is the family of California police officer Ronell Singh. I've gotten to know his family. They're an incredible family. They just left the Oval Office. We took pictures. And it's not an easy situation, what they're going through. Frankly, they're going through hell. Ronell came to this country legally in 2003 with the dream of earning the badge of an American police officer. That was always his dream. And that's exactly what Ronell did. He devoted his life to defending the laws of our country. On Christmas night, he took a picture in front of the family Christmas tree with his beautiful wife, their beloved son, and Sam, their loyal police dog. It's a picture that all of us saw. I remember it so vividly. I'll never forget it. I didn't know I'd get to know the family, and greet the family, and show the family the Lincoln bedroom at the White House. I didn't know that. But it's an extraordinary family. But I'll never forget the picture. Then Corporal Singh headed out on duty, which he loved, to protect and to serve. You all know the story. Because hours later, he was gunned down and killed during a simple traffic stop. He was a vicious killer, this man that crossed into our country from the border just a little while before. A vicious killer that could have been kept out with border security, with the wall, with whatever that had to take. We're getting it there, we're building the wall, we're beefing up like you wouldn't believe. The military is coming to action. People are trying to come into our country illegally because our country's doing well. They can't come in illegally. They have to come in through the legal system. They have to come in through merit. They can't come in like this killer came in, just rode across the border, went through every sign he could go through. But the family is special. Ronell was special. And today we're really grateful to be joined by Corporal Singh's wife, Anamika, and their precious 10-month-old son, Arna. Where are you? You're right here someplace. Stand up, please. And also here are his great parents, Reggie, come up here, will you please? Come on. Come on. This is unexpected. This family, I tell you. You know, you get to know some people. Come on. They may let you up. I think Reggie's... Okay, come on up, Reggie. How about bringing the beautiful boy up? Come on. Come on. Mrs. Singh, come on. Come on up. You know what? How about mom and dad? Come on up, mom and dad. Wife, baby, come on. That's great. Got to see it, to understand what it's all about. It's hard to imagine what they've been through. Hard to imagine. Come on up, Reg. You didn't know you'd be doing this, Reggie. Sorry, Reg.
I am the brother of Corporal Ronil Singh. I'd like to thank every single law enforcement officer over here. What you guys go through, I heard stories from my brother. This man over here, the Singh family supports him. Whatever he's doing for the law enforcement, we support him. At the White House has reached out to us multiple times. I don't think that has ever happened before, ever. This man is amazing, and my family supports him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks. She said, no, I don't want to speak. Actually, I do. I like it.
It's something I didn't do with the office. I actually want to thank you personally for you're the only one that actually reached out and said, gave your condolence to the family. And it actually means a lot to all of our law enforcement families that are here for the sacrifice. My husband and his brothers and it's a strength that you have given. I want to thank you that. And we all, every family sitting out here wants justice for what happened to their loved ones. And that's what I love to learn.
Thank you very much. So beautiful, such a beautiful family. And there will be justice. Justice will happen. We have the people, and we have the spirit, we have the mindset of taking care of our law enforcement officers. And we're taking care of everybody. But we cannot imagine your pain of doing that, just doing that. Reggie, thank you very much. Fathom what you've been through. But we pledge to you the unwavering love and support and devotion of this entire nation. We have a great nation. It's getting better and better every day. It's getting stronger. We're not relying on outside forces and outside countries that don't really care about us other than to take advantage of our people, our system. And our nation is strong again. And getting stronger every single minute. Joining the Singhs are more than 10 other family members and close friends, along with 22 of his fellow officers. Please stand, would you? Please stand. 22 officers. Thank you. So was he as great as they say? Well, he was. He was. I had a feeling you might say that. He was. That's what I hear from everybody. Good. Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. You remind us all that when our heroes fall, our communities stand together as one, they get stronger. We'll always remember Corporal Singh as a hero and a truly great American. Not one more American life should be lost because our lawmakers fail to secure our borders. Tremendous problems, of course, at the southern border, from drugs to the wrong people being allowed to come in because of a corrupt and broken system that can be changed in 20 minutes. 20 minutes, if they want to change it. In the meantime, we have to do it the tough way. There's no reason for that. That's why we are calling on Congress to fix our terrible immigration laws. Stop, catch, and release. You catch them, and you release them. That doesn't work too well with all these great officers I'm looking at. You never heard of anything like that. To end deadly sanctuary cities.
Yes.
To stop the visa lottery program where they take lottery systems and a country will put you into a lottery and then deposit you into the United States. I don't think most countries are giving us their finest. Do you agree? And that's what's happening. And it's causing tremendous problems with crime and other things. And I have to tell you, Border Patrol and ICE and just law enforcement in general, the job they've done and the job they're doing is incredible. What they have to go through, the bravery, I've gotten to know so many, especially at the border, and what they have to go through and the danger is incredible, but they do it. And to them, it's something they love to do. They feel they're doing it for their country. They love to do it, and they do it well. To every mom and dad, brother and sister, spouse and child of the brave fallen officers we honor today, America joins together in expressing our love and our gratitude, our grief, and our firm resolve to be with you every single step of the way. We will never let you down. Your loved ones were the finest and the bravest, and they're all looking down. Right now, they're looking down on their families. Every time they put on the badge, they knew they might not make it home, and so did their families know. Each time they went on a shift, they knew it could be their very last. And when that time came where they knew there was danger, when evil lurked, they did not run, they did not hide. They always ran forward. They answered the call, they gave their lives for all of us. The men and women of law enforcement devote their lives to protecting our children, securing our streets, and keeping our communities safe. Moms and dads can sleep soundly at night, kids can play with neighbors outside, and grandparents can feel at peace in their homes because they know America's officers are the absolute best, and they're always on the beat. The courage and sacrifice of our heroes is the reason our flag stands tall and brave. Our hearts beat with pride, and our country remains one people, one family, and one nation under God. Today we thank you, we honor you, and we forever cherish the memory of our fallen men and women in blue. You're very special people. There's nobody like you, nobody. God bless you, God bless our law enforcement, God bless the fallen, and God bless the United States Thank you very much.